the Gibbs phase rule in that, and we have applied this Gibbs phase rule for the different types of cooling curves. Classification of cooling curves we have seen in that first type of cooling curve we have seen, that is cooling curve for the pure metal. Cooling curve for the pure metal. Then secondly, we have seen the cooling curve for the binary solid solution alloys. Third type of cooling curve, we have seen the cooling curve for binary eutectic alloy. And fourth type, we have seen cooling curve for the off eutectic binary alloys. Off eutectic binary alloys. So these four types of cooling curves, and we have applied the Gibbs phase rule for these four types of cooling curves. That much we have seen in this last lecture. Now, you just write in the chat why we have taken 1 here in the Gibbs phase rule, because actual Gibbs phase rule says that under equilibrium condition the following relation must be satisfied: P plus F is equal to C plus 2, whereas P is the number of phases existing in the system under consideration, F is the degree of freedom, C is the number of components in the system, and 2 represents the variables. And these variables are generally 3: temperature, pressure, and concentration. So why we are considering 1 here in actual application while looking for the phase diagram? Just write in chat why we have done this. Just write in chat why we have taken 1 there in Gibbs phase rule. P plus F is equal to C plus 1. While using or by applying that Gibbs phase rule to the various types of cooling curve, we have used the equation P plus F is equal to C plus 1. So why we have used 1 there instead of 2? Remember, our subject is having external oral examination, so in that such questions may be asked. Write in chat or unmute yourself and tell why there 1 is taken. Am I audible? Just write yes in the chat. It's okay. Then why there in that equation of Gibbs phase rule P plus F is equal to C plus 2, C plus 1 is taken? Because in most of the cases the study is done under the constant pressure. That's why the pressure is not a variable in that case, it will become a constant. That's why out of the two variables of temperature and concentration, we are taking one variable. That's why here 1 is written. P plus F is equal to C plus 1. Then that 1 represents the variable out of the one from temperature and concentration. So this Gibbs phase rule we have applied for different cooling curves, different types of cooling curve. If you understood these cooling curves, once again you just take a look on their all type of cooling curve for the pure metal. For pure metal, you are having cooling curve like this. That means firstly, whenever liquid is in metal is in the liquid phase, A to B cooling curve will be there, having only one phase. At that case, you have got F is equal to 1. That means degrees of freedom for that metal in liquid phase is only 1. This system is univariant. Either you can vary temperature or concentration. At line B to C, in line B to C, there are two phases, liquid plus solid, and temperature is nearly constant here or exactly constant here. That means you have got F is equal to 0. Degree of freedom for this B to C line will be 0. You cannot vary anything, either temperature or concentration, to get those phases liquid plus solid. Liquid plus solid. And thirdly, C to D line, there only solid phase is there of that metal, and at that line you have got F is equal to 1. That means degree of freedom equal to 1. That means only one variable can be varied, either temperature or concentration, without changing that phase. Either you change the temperature from C to D point, the phase will not change. After C point, the phase will change. That means if you increase the temperature beyond C or B, because C and B are at the same level, after beyond C point, then the phase will get changed from solid to liquid. And in between that, certain time will be there at that temperature B to C. There will be two phases, liquid plus solid. Liquid plus solid. Now you may say how this is happening. A liquid plus solid phase is there. So you just consider one example. I just define you the phase. Phase means what? It is a state of the material. And those states may be solid, liquid, or gaseous states. Solid, liquid, or gaseous state. Now, consider the example of water. So water is available in three phases. Either solid phase, that is ice, liquid phase, that is pure water you are drinking, and gaseous phase also, that is H2O, which is available in the air. So in the three cases or three phases, water is available. So if you drop an ice cube inside the water in the glass, at that position, what is there? In the glass, water is in the form of liquid also, as well as in the form of solid also, isn't it? Liquid as well as solid. And those two phases are different phases. Although both the things are water only, but still both the phases are different, are called as different, because water is present inside the glass in the form of in the form of liquid as well as in the form of solid also. So same thing is there at this B to C point. The phase of that metal is liquid also as well as solid also. Liquid also as well as solid also. Understand? Next, for this is cooling curve for pure metal. Remember, cooling curve for pure metal having the BC central middle portion has exactly constant temperature. Secondly, cooling curve for the binary solid solution alloy, there no line is there having the phase equal to 0. That means everything has degrees of freedom more than 1 or 1, at least 1. So here we can vary the two variables without changing this liquid phase. In middle line B to C, we can vary only 1 degree of freedom without changing this liquid plus solid phase. And C to D point, one solid phase is there, and there we are having two variables that can be varied without changing the solid phase. So this is a cooling curve for the binary solid solution alloy. Alloy means it is a mixture of two or more metals in a constant or fixed proportion. So here two different metals are mixed. Remember, this is the cooling curve for the alloy. And for the pure metal, we are having one horizontal line, this BC horizontal line. Thirdly, just remember the nature of the curve, because these curves we are using for drawing the phase diagram in the next point. Third type of cooling curve you are seeing, cooling curve for the binary eutectic alloy. Binary eutectic alloy, and what is meant by eutectic, just we have seen in the last lecture. What is meant by eutectic? Binary eutectic alloy. So binary eutectic is a homogeneous mixture of two solids which forms at a constant temperature during the cooling and melts at a constant temperature during heating. That means at a constant temperature, there is a homogeneous mixture of two solids. In previous two types of cooling curves, only one type of solid is available for the same alloy. But here, for that same alloy, two different solid phases we have got, S1 and S2, at a constant temperature. Here in the phase diagram, never there is a constant temperature, but in the solid solution alloys, but wherever there is a constant temperature, and at that constant temperature, two solids are having the two different solid phases. So S1 and S2 will be two phases present here at constant temperature. Then that alloy we will call it as a binary eutectic alloy. So if it is said in the problem, not problem, but if it is said in the alloy that those metals which you are used in the alloy are having binary eutectic temperature or binary eutectic melting point or binary eutectic temperature, then you can say that there will be constant horizontal line at which two different phases will be available for the solid S1 and S2. So this will be nature of that line if your alloy is binary eutectic alloy. Then we have seen last type cooling curve for the off eutectic binary alloy. Off eutectic means what? Whatever composition of eutectic is there, apart from that, either it will be hypoeutectic or hypereutectic. Either it will be hypoeutectic or hypereutectic. So if this is hypo and hyper means what? Hypo means less than and hyper means more than. Hypoeutectic means less than eutectic composition. And hypereutectic means what? More than eutectic composition. If such things are there in your alloy, then it will be called as a off eutectic binary alloy. And for such kind of binary alloy, the cooling curve will be like this. It is having the four different lines: A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to E, having the different composition or different phases present, different degrees of freedom present while cooling. So if you cool from this A point, it will come to B point having only one phase, liquid phase, and having degrees of freedom 2. That means without changing that liquid phase from A to B, you can vary the two things, either temperature or concentration. Next, from B to C point, two phases will be there. Liquid plus one solid. That solid may be S1 or S2. That solid may be S1 or S2 because in alloy, two different metals are there. That's why there may be possibility of generation of either one of the solid at B to C point and degrees of freedom 1. Again from C to B point, C to D point, three phases will be there, similar to eutectic alloy, but it is off eutectic. That's why this B to C having liquid plus solid 1 or solid 2, this extra line has generated because it is off eutectic. Either it is a hypo or hyper. Don't know it is hypo or hyper. Still that line will be there for both hypo eutectic as well as hyper eutectic. Then D to E line is having two different solid phases. One more example I will give you. I have just given the example of water. Inside water, if you place the ice cube, then it is having one solid phase and one liquid phase. S1 and S2, that means two solid phases. Is it possible to have the two different solid phases inside the same alloy? So it is possible. Consider example of sand. Inside the sand, if you place sugar, or inside a you can say salt, you have placed the sugar cubes. So two different solids are there and homogeneous mixture is also there. So in such cases, just for example, in such cases, two different solids are available at that lowered temperature. So two different phases we will consider, isn't it? And there 1 degree of freedom is there. So this kind of curve, this kind of nature of curve you will get for the off eutectic binary alloy. So just remember these nature of curves for different types of alloys or materials, as well as remember what is the state of that material at different lines. So if you are knowing this, we can have a look over the next point, that is the phase diagram or equilibrium diagram. Phase diagram or equilibrium diagram. Now, is it visible to all PPT? Write in the chat, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, firstly, equilibrium diagram or phase diagram. What is that equilibrium diagram or phase diagram? It is a graphical representation of various phases present inside the material system at various temperature and composition. It is the graphical representation of various phases present in the material system at various temperature and composition. Now, in cooling curve, we have seen that it is a two-dimensional curve in which we have varied the temperature with respect to time, and we have drawn one curve on which we have represented phases also. But in equilibrium diagram, we have to vary not only the temperature, we have to vary also composition. That means composition means what? Suppose an alloy is there, then inside the alloy, two different metals will be there. If we change the percentage of addition of different materials inside the alloy, then that will be change in the composition. So change in the composition as well as change in temperature. So these two things we will consider and we will draw the phase diagram. So that a graphical representation will be called as a equilibrium diagram or phase diagram. So what is definition? Equilibrium diagram is a graphical representation of various phases present in the material system at various temperature and composition of at various temperature and composition. So all the phase diagrams have the temperature as a coordinate. That means on y-axis we are taking the temperature and percentage composition by weight as an abscissa. That means on x-axis. So in phase diagram we are taking, suppose this is one kind of phase diagram. So whatever, this is a very small phase diagram having the two different metals, or it is one alloy or one alloy. This is a phase diagram, a curve from L1 to L11 and again from L11 to L1. So this curve is a phase diagram. In that phase diagram, just observe on y-axis we have taken a temperature, on x-axis we have taken a percentage weight. That means a concentration. That means a concentration or composition. That means a composition we have taken on x-axis and temperature on y-axis. So these kind of diagrams are called as equilibrium or a phase diagram. Phase diagram. And why it is called as equilibrium diagram? Because these phases at a particular temperature and composition will be under equilibrium condition. That's why it is also called as equilibrium diagram. You know what is equilibrium? Equilibrium is nothing but a minimum energy present inside that object. Then we can say that object is under equilibrium condition. Minimum energy. So here also that phase is having minimum energy at that particular temperature and composition, and we are representing the phases. That's why it is also called as equilibrium diagram. So one of the, again we will see just short introduction of that phase diagram or equilibrium diagram. One of the most important objective in the metallurgy is to determine the properties of material. So why it is necessary to study the equilibrium diagram or plot the equilibrium diagram? because we need to find out the properties of material. We need to find out the properties of different material. The properties of material is a function of a microstructure, and this microstructure will depend on the composition and variables such as a pressure, temperature, and concentration. So the microstructure is dependent on composition, temperature, and pressure, and the properties of material are dependent on microstructure. If you change the composition, that means, again a simple example you consider of tea. You prepare a tea. Inside the tea you are placing water, milk, sugar, tea powder. So all these are having the particular percentage in proportion you are adding. So that is nothing but a composition. If that composition changes, that means if somebody adds more sugar, then that tea will become more sweet. And if somebody adds more tea powder, that becomes less sweet, or it will have some certain different property. So similarly here also, as the composition of that alloy or material changes, it is having different microstructure. It is having different properties. Similarly, these composition, same composition, but at different temperature. Same tea, if I boil for more time, for longer time, at a higher temperature, it will again have some different taste. If that tea is again boiled at a low temperature, it is heated and then you drink it. So it is also having different taste. So in similar way, although proportion or composition is same, but temperature is varied, then also microstructure is different. Then as microstructure is different, properties will be different. So all these things, for finding the property of material only, we are doing all these things. And to know the microstructure, we need to know the composition, temperature, pressure, all these things. Now all these things are plotted in the phase diagram. So all these things are present in the phase diagram. Temperature is present, composition is present, and phase is present. So if you know the phase, composition, temperature, you know the properties of material. Hence, to determine the phase present in the material system, an equilibrium diagram is plotted. So in this lecture, we will see just in short how to plot the equilibrium diagram for simple alloy having the two materials or two elements present inside that alloy. Generally, consider example of a stainless steel. Inside the stainless steel, iron is there, chromium is there, nickel is there, and small amount of carbon is also there. So it is a trivariant system. That means three different compositions are present, three different materials are present inside the stainless steel. And consider a simple example of copper, nickel alloy, brass or bronze, copper, tin alloy, bronze. So in those alloys, only two elements are present. So this is bivariant system. So univariant, bivariant, and trivariant systems are there, and we need to study these all. So just we will consider a simple case of the copper and nickel system, binary copper and nickel system, and we will try to plot the phase diagram. But before that, just to understand, to draw the equilibrium diagram or plot the equilibrium diagram, we are having different techniques such as the thermal analysis technique, optical analysis technique, electron microscopy, X-ray diffraction, thermodynamic data analysis. So all these techniques are available for plotting the phase diagram directly. But for the most of the cases, or the simple or basic thing to draw the equilibrium diagram is from using the cooling curve only, or by using the cooling curve. Firstly, we will have the cooling curves, and if you put all these cooling curves, because Cooling curves, we know, previous lecture we have seen the cooling curves. There we have plotted different cooling curves for different composition temperature, isn't it? A particular at particular composition, temperature is decreased, and with respect to time and temperature, we have plotted one line, isn't it? Only few lines are there and one curve we have plotted. Similarly, here in the equilibrium diagram, you just observe different composition is there. That means percentage of copper and nickel. Here, the first point, initial point, represents copper is 0%. At the last, nickel. So here nickel is 100%, isn't it? Here copper is 100% and nickel is here 100%. Copper 100%. Inside that, if you add the 10% nickel. Secondly, if you add 20% nickel. Thirdly, if you add 30%, 40%, 60%, 70%, 90%, and 100% nickel. So like that, composition is changed. For that composition, what will be cooling curves? For different composition, different cooling curves will be there. And those cooling curves we will plot one by one like this. In this diagram it is shown. And we will join all the points and draw this kind of phase diagram that we will see further. So this technique we are using for drawing the phase diagram or equilibrium diagram by plotting the cooling curves. So all other these methods are also there: thermal analysis, optical electron microscopy, then X-ray diffraction, thermodynamic data analysis. So all these techniques are also available. The use of this equilibrium diagram or phase diagram, already I have told you for what purpose we are using this: for knowing the phases, knowing the microstructure, and then ultimately knowing the properties of material. So the equilibrium diagram is used to obtain the following information. It shows the various phases present at different composition and temperature. In that diagram, ultimately the phases are shown at different temperature and composition. Secondly, it indicates the solid solubility of one element in other. Solid solubility in one element in other. So I have told you in that cooling curve, so at different temperatures, different phases are available. So either liquid phase, solid phase, or solid plus liquid, or liquid plus solid 1 plus solid 2. Like that, phases are available for different types of material. So such solid solubility, whether these two things are soluble to each other or not, these we can indicate on that phase diagram also. Thirdly, it shows the temperature range over which the solidification or liquidification of the material system occurs. Yes, because the phase diagram is the variation of temperature and composition and phases. So we can represent the temperature range over which solidification, liquidification of the material system occurs. It indicates the temperature at which different phases start to melt. These are also important in design because at high temperature or elevated temperature, we cannot use particular materials because their phase change is started at higher temperature. So these temperature also we can indicate in that phase diagram, above which we cannot melt or heat that composition so that it will start to change the phase. That should be avoided. So these are the uses of equilibrium diagram or phase diagram. From phase diagram we can find out all these things. Now how to draw that equilibrium diagram or phase diagram? So let us consider the binary copper and nickel system. The copper and nickel have 100% solubility in liquid and solid states. So generally solid solutions are having 100% solubility in liquid and solid state. Remember that. That means copper and nickel will form the solid solution. And solid solutions, what is solid solution? Types of solid solution that we have seen in second lecture of this chapter. So this copper and nickel have 100% solubility. They can mix to each other homogeneously in liquid as well as solid states, as well as in solid states. So the following steps are obtained to draw the equilibrium diagram or phase diagram. So we'll draw the phase diagram for binary copper nickel system, and you know copper and nickel is an alloy. So for this alloy, we will start to draw the phase diagram. So for that purpose, we need some concentrations. So initially, we consider the copper has been taken in 100%. That means pure copper is taken. No nickel is there. Secondly, 90% copper and 10% nickel. Then 80% copper, 20% nickel. Like that, 10% reduction in copper and increment in the nickel is there. And ultimately, at the final 11th reading or 11th material. So these are different specimens. Consider these all are specimens. First specimen is having pure copper, and last specimen is having pure nickel. And in between, we have made these alloys. So specimen 2 to 10 are the alloys, but these alloys will be कसले alloys असतील? Binary solid solution alloys, isn't it? And we have seen the cooling curve for binary solid solution alloys, how it is. And we have seen a cooling curve for binary solid solution alloys. So is it like this? Is it like this? Yes, it is the cooling curve for binary solid solution alloy. And for pure metal, how it is? For pure metal, that cooling curve is in this form. Cooling curve is in this form. That means one horizontal line is there. Here all three are inclined, having the all different degrees of freedom. Here that central line B to C is having the phase 0. Degree of freedom 0. So from these two equilibrium diagrams only, we need to prepare a phase diagram for this binary solid solution alloy of binary copper and nickel system. Now here from reading 2 to reading 10 or material 2 to 10 are the alloys, and material 1 and material 11. These two are the only pure metals. Material 1 is a pure copper and material 11 is a pure nickel. Isn't it? Next. So for plotting these curves of above material, we will plot the cooling curves for different composition. That means for initially 0% nickel is there, that means 100% copper. I will draw one cooling curve for pure copper metal. So this will be my pure copper metal, I mean liquid phase, then solid plus liquid phase, and then solid phase. Then for 10%, L2 represents, that means it is an alloy in which 10% nickel is there, and 90% copper is there. At that time, it is called as a alloy or binary solid solution alloy. Then that cooling curve is having L as initial liquid phase. Then from this middle portion is having two phases, liquid plus solid, isn't it? Just like in this diagram, liquid plus solid, but not at a constant temperature. This inclined line is there. Thirdly, L3 point, because at this line, different composition, 20% of nickel and 80% of copper is there. I will draw one line, one curve, cooling curve for this composition. Then fourth line or fourth curve or fourth composition, like that up to 11. For 11, again it is a pure nickel alloy, pure nickel metal. because 0% of copper is there, pure nickel will be there. So am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Lastly, for 11th material, that is a pure nickel. That's why one curve, cooling curve, for pure metal we have shown having liquid phase initially, then solid first liquid, but at constant temperature, and then one again inclined line for solid solution, solid phase. These curves I will draw for different composition plotted here at different markings. So this is my second step. In first step, I have just prepared the composition or number of alloys with varying composition with a nickel and marked them as a material 1 to material 11. Material 1 is pure metal, material 11 is pure metal. In between 2 to 10, all are the alloys. So secondly, I have plotted all the cooling curves for different composition of materials from 1 to 11. Then thirdly, note down the liquidus and solidus temperature of the material. Now, what is the liquidus temperature and what is solidus temperature? That we have seen in the last lecture. In last lecture, we have seen what is the liquidus temperature. What is the liquidus temperature? It is the temperature at which the start of solidification temperature, the start of solidification, that temperature is called as the liquidus temperature. And solidus temperature, that means below this temperature, the metal or alloy is in the form of solid state, So in this diagram, liquidus temperature will be L1, L2, L3, L4, because above this temperature, all will be in the liquid phase. And solidus temperatures are S1, S2, S3, S4, up to S11. So all these will be solidus temperature. Below this temperature, all will be in the solid phase. To understand this, for materials 1 to 11, we have joined all the liquidus and solidus temperature points. I will enlarge this diagram so that you can understand. For this, I have joined all the liquidus points and all the solidus points by smooth curve. If I join all these by a smooth curve, then this will prepare my phase diagram. That means whatever upper curve you are observing from L1, L2, L3, L4, L5, L6 to L11, that is the liquid phase of your alloy. So at any temperature, you consider random temperature T, at this point, X point, for that X point, temperature is T and composition is certain something, consider it as a 30% of nickel and 70% of copper. So at that concentration or composition and at temperature T, what is the phase? So you can immediately say it is a liquid phase. Above this line, all phase, all material for all composition, it will be liquid phase. Below this line, S1, S2, S3, S4 up to S11, below this line or on this line, all the composition will be solid at temperature and composition. Below this line, it will be solid because it is a solidus line. On that, it will be definitely solid. Below this line, also solid. Upper line for liquidus line, on this line as well as above this line, all will be in the liquid phase. And in between these two lines, in between these two curves, L1, L2, L3, L4 up to L11 and S1, S2, S3 up to S11. In between that, all at all temperature and all composition, the phase will be liquid plus solid. Liquid plus solid. So for copper and nickel binary alloy, I have drawn a phase diagram which represents temperature and concentration. Concentration, that means percentage weight of nickel inside the copper. This is called as concentration. So here concentration, temperature and phase. So all these things I can understand from that diagram. From that diagram, at particular temperature, at particular concentration or composition, immediately I can tell what is the phase, or above what temperature it will change the phase for this composition, that is also I can tell. So don't heat that component beyond this temperature limit so that it will convert into liquid phase, or don't cool that below this temperature so that it will convert into solid phase and it will hamper your structure what you are prepared. So for those purposes, this phase diagram or equilibrium diagram is used, and how it is prepared, we have prepared it by using a cooling curve. So just tell me whether it is understood.
Yes,
Just
sir.
if any query also, then also ask. आपण पहिल्यांदा बघितलं, first we have seen the cooling curves, then we have cooling curve for different material, pure metal as well as alloy, and now we have seen how to draw the phase diagram or equilibrium diagram from that cooling curve, and we have achieved different temperature at different composition, what will be phases. And this is important aspect of studying the properties of material. Understood this? Don't leave the meeting in between because I have to take the attendance. Just say in the chat whether you understood this or any query, just write in the chat. Any query? Actually, we are not going to plot any phase diagram actually, but we are studying the phase diagram here from this point onwards. But for while studying that phase diagram of iron carbon or non-ferrous alloy, we need to have the knowledge of this cooling curve and how the phase diagram is drawn and what is the significance of that phase diagram. So that's why we have taken all these points, although these points are also in the syllabus. So I will take the attendance now. Just call the roll numbers. Roll number 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yes, sir.
5,
Yes, sir.
6, 7,
Yes, sir.
8,
Yes, sir.
9,